In a kingdom where honor was as prized as gold, the people adored their king, a figure draped in virtue and authority. But what if the king had a secret he would kill to protect? Sir Alden, a loyal knight clad in shining armor, stood before the grand castle gates, the weight of his duty heavy on his shoulders. He was tasked with protecting the king, but recent whispers in the marketplace hinted at a darker side to the man he served. The air was thick with tension as he recalled the hushed conversations he overheard, a rumor of betrayal within the very heart of the court. The castle loomed behind him, its towering spires piercing the sky like daggers. Alden could almost feel the weight of the king's eyes upon him, though the king was far from view. The golden banners fluttered, casting shadows that danced eerily on the cobblestone streets below. It was a realm of beauty hiding a murky truth. As Alden stepped inside, he was greeted by the sight of courtly banquets and cheerful laughter, but beneath the surface, he sensed a current of unease. What was the king hiding? And why did his heart race at the thought of uncovering the truth? Suddenly, the doors swung open, revealing the king. Tall and imposing, his presence commanded attention. But today, a flicker of something unrecognizable crossed his face as he spotted Alden. "Alden, my trusted knight," the king called, his voice booming, yet tinged with an undercurrent of fear. "I have a task for you." Alden swallowed hard, his loyalty battling with the unease in his heart. "What is your command, my liege?" "Find the source of these rumors. We cannot allow the stability of our kingdom to be jeopardized by treachery." As Alden bowed, a cold shiver ran down his spine. What was the king truly afraid of? Would you stay loyal to a corrupt king? Alden delved into the shadows of the castle, seeking the truth behind the king's request. Each corridor whispered secrets as he navigated the dimly lit hallways, adorned with tapestries that depicted tales of valor and betrayal. The scent of burning candles mixed with the faint aroma of damp stone, enveloping him in an atmosphere heavy with anticipation. He soon found himself in the library, a sanctuary of knowledge where the soft rustle of parchment mingled with the distant echoes of laughter from the royal festivities. Alden scanned the shelves, his fingers trailing along the spines of ancient tomes, searching for anything that might shed light on the king's past. It was then that he stumbled upon a dusty book, its cover cracked and worn. The title, "The Secrets of Eldoria," caught his eye. Flipping it open, Alden discovered a hidden account of the royal family, dark tales of ambition, betrayal, and a king who had once waged war against his own kin to seize the throne. Suddenly, footsteps echoed behind him, snapping Alden from his thoughts. He turned to find Lady Seraphine, a close advisor to the king, her eyes darting with concern. "Sir Alden, what are you doing here?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm seeking the truth about our king," he replied, determination fueling his words. "I have to know if the rumors are true." Her face paled as she stepped closer, urgency in her voice. "You must tread carefully. There are those who would do anything to protect the crown, even if it means silencing the truth." Just then, the library door creaked open, and the king himself appeared, his face twisted in anger. "Alden, what treasonous act are you plotting in my castle?" Alden's heart raced as the truth hung in the air. He was caught between loyalty and the revelations he uncovered. What would you do if your king was not who you believed him to be? Tension filled the air as Alden stood before the king, the library now a battleground of loyalty and fear. Lady Seraphine's gaze flickered between the two men, her breath held in anticipation of what was to come. "Alden, you have always been a loyal servant, but your curiosity could be your downfall," the king warned, his voice low and threatening. "What are you hiding?" Alden demanded, the words spilling out before he could hold them back. "Why are there whispers of treachery in the court?" The king's expression hardened, and for a moment, a shadow crossed his face, revealing a glimpse of the man beneath the crown. "You know nothing of the burdens I carry. I protect this kingdom at all costs, even if it means sacrificing those I love." Alden felt the sting of betrayal as the king's words sunk in. "You mean to say you would harm your own people to maintain power?" "It's not about power, Alden. It's about survival. There are those who seek to overthrow me, and I will not let them take this kingdom from me." A flicker of doubt crept into Alden's mind. The king, once a beacon of hope, now seemed a desperate man clinging to his throne. The gravity of his secret was becoming clearer, yet Alden's heart still wavered. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the corridor outside, followed by a blood-curdling scream. Alden rushed to the door, his instincts urging him to investigate. As he stepped outside, he was met with chaos. Guards rushed past him, weapons drawn, and the air was thick with fear. In the center of the commotion lay a figure cloaked in shadows, clutching a dagger stained with blood. Alden's heart dropped as he recognized the figure. It was one of the king's closest advisors, fallen and lifeless. "What have you done?" he shouted, turning back to the king, who stood in the doorway, face pale and eyes wide with horror. I didn't," the king stammered, his facade of control crumbling. Is loyalty worth the price of truth? The lifeless body of the king's advisor lay sprawled on the cold stone floor, a grim reminder of the dangers lurking in the shadows of the castle. Panic erupted as guards rushed to secure the area, and Alden could feel the tension crackling in the air. "Alden!" Lady Seraphine's voice pierced through the chaos. "We must get out of here." He hesitated, torn between duty and the dark truth that loomed over them. But the king will only drag you deeper into this madness. We must find the answers ourselves before it's too late. With that, Alden took one last look at the king, whose face had transformed from authority to desperation. The man he once admired was now shrouded in uncertainty, and Alden's heart ached for the loyalty he was beginning to question. Together with Seraphine, Alden ventured into the depths of the castle, searching for clues to the king's dark past. The hallways grew dimmer as they descended into the lower chambers, where whispers of the court's secrets echoed off the stone walls. They stumbled upon a hidden chamber, filled with artifacts of the kingdom's history, trophies of battles won and lost, each a testament to the blood spilled for the crown. In the center of the room lay a large chest, its lock rusted but intact. "What do you think is inside?" Seraphine asked, her voice trembling with excitement and fear. Alden knelt before the chest, his heart pounding as he pried it open. Inside lay scrolls and letters detailing the king's past, a history of manipulation, betrayal, and a pact made in blood. As Alden read the words, horror filled his heart. The king had orchestrated treachery against his own family, eliminating rivals with ruthless efficiency. This was the dark secret he would kill to protect. Just as Alden grasped the magnitude of the king's betrayal, the ground trembled beneath their feet. The guards, alerted to their presence, would stop at nothing to silence them. If the king is willing to betray his own blood, who else will he sacrifice to protect his throne? Alden's mind raced as he and Seraphine scrambled to hide the evidence of the king's dark past. The walls of the chamber echoed with the shouts of guards closing in, urgency fueling their every move. "We need to warn the people," Seraphine insisted, her eyes fierce. "If the king is capable of this, they deserve to know the truth. But if we expose him, we risk everything," Alden argued, torn between loyalty to the crown and his moral compass. "He will retaliate against anyone who speaks out." "Then we must gather allies," she replied, determination etched on her face. "We can't stand by while he continues this tyranny." As the shouts grew louder, Alden made his decision. He would not be a pawn in a corrupt game any longer. "You're right. We need to confront him and gather the truth. The people deserve to know who truly rules over them." With their plans set, they raced back toward the main hall, only to find the king standing at the center, flanked by guards, a facade of authority still clinging to his presence. "Alden, Seraphine," the king called, his voice steady despite the chaos. "You've returned. I trust you have found nothing of concern." Alden stepped forward, heart pounding, as he faced the man he once admired. "Your Majesty, we know the truth. We know what you've done to your own family." The king's eyes narrowed, his expression shifting from surprise to fury. "You would dare question my reign? You would betray your king?" Alden's voice trembled with conviction. "I will not stand by while you lie and manipulate us all. The people deserve to know the truth of your betrayal." The room fell silent as the king's fury ignited, his face twisting with rage. "You think you can defy me? You're a fool." Suddenly, the tension snapped, and the guards surged forward. Alden drew his sword, ready to defend not just himself, but the kingdom from a king who had lost his way. Is it worth it to risk everything for the truth? The clash of steel rang out as Alden stood firm against the guards, his heart racing with the weight of his decision. He would fight for the truth, even if it meant facing the wrath of the king. "Alden!" Seraphine shouted, dodging a guard's swing as she joined him. "We have to expose him now." The king watched, fury and desperation warring in his eyes. "You think the people will follow you? I am their king." "Not if they learn the truth of your betrayal," Alden countered, parrying another blow. In that moment, the castle doors burst open and a group of townsfolk flooded in, drawn by the commotion. They froze in shock, witnessing the knight fighting against the guards of their king. "Alden!" one voice cried. "What's happening?" "Expose him," Seraphine urged. "Tell them what the king has done." With a heavy heart, Alden turned to the crowd, his voice booming. "People of Eldoria, the man who claims to protect you has betrayed his own family to maintain his throne. He would sacrifice anyone for his power." Gasps echoed through the hall as whispers of disbelief rippled through the crowd. The king stepped forward, desperation clawing at his voice. "You would side with this traitor? You have no idea what chaos will unfold if you turn against me." But the seeds of doubt had already been planted, and as Alden raised the scrolls, revealing the king's dark secrets, the crowd gasped collectively. "Look!" Alden shouted. "These scrolls detail the king's crimes. He cannot be trusted." As the townsfolk rallied around Alden and Seraphine, the guards hesitated, their loyalty wavering in the face of the truth. The king's mask of control shattered, revealing a man desperate to cling to the power he had wrought through blood. "Stand with me," the king commanded, but his voice lacked the authority it once held. The crowd began to murmur, eyes flickering with uncertainty and fear. In that moment, Alden made his choice. "We will not follow a corrupt ruler. We will forge a new path for Eldoria, one of truth and justice." The king's expression twisted with rage and betrayal as the guards finally lowered their weapons, shifting their allegiance. As Alden faced the fallen king, the weight of his decision had settled upon him. He had chosen truth over loyalty, risking everything to protect the kingdom he loved. With the castle in turmoil, the winds of change swept through Eldoria. The kingdom stood on the precipice of a new era, the air thick with the promise of revolution and the hope of justice. What would you sacrifice for the truth?